Ho, ho, ho. You thought just because you play week 17 that I forgot about you. No, I didn't. I have a very special list for those of you that are still playing week 17. Let's go on to the video. What's going on, fantasy football fans? I'm your host, Hussein the Brain, and you're watching the couch. These are my waiver wire pickups for week 17. This year, I was so glad to see so many of you win the championship game. I got so many messages on Instagram, so many people tagged me, and especially on the Facebook group, the Fantasy Couch Fam Facebook group, a lot of people were saying they won the championship and thanked me, and it's just a beautiful thing to see. I wish you guys all Merry Christmas, and for those of you that did win in the championship league, congratulations. Now, I always say this, I don't recommend playing week 17, but for those of you that do play, I don't hate you, even though some of you hate me and have threatened me by saying you're gonna unsubscribe or call me out for trying to persuade people not to play week 17. Look, I'm gonna always speak my mind as a commish and as a person who gives advice to other commissioners. I highly don't recommend people playing week 17. Fantasy football is supposed to be fun, and playing week 17 in the most important game in fantasy football is just not fun to me. A lot of players are being benched, a lot of players are resting, teams are firing coaches. I just don't recommend it. If you do play week 17, that's up to you. I really don't care what rules or settings you guys lay down for your league, as long as you guys love it and as long as you guys are having fun. That's what's so awesome about fantasy football. It's your league. You get to decide what the rules are, what the settings are, and hey, as long as you guys are enjoying it, I'm all for it. If I hated you guys, would I really be doing this video right now, today? No, I would not. I want to help you guys out regardless. Enough of that. Let's go on to the quarterbacks. I have pickups at every position. Now, I'm not going to say that they're going to be good ones. Some good, some not so good. For quarterbacks, there are actually a few that are really good. Nick Foles has been balling out of control. I can't project what this guy's going to do. It's like magic every time he's in there, or it might be a disaster, but I do like him. I just don't know exactly what to project when it comes to Nick Foles. Jameis Winston, though, I think he'll be good. This is a great matchup. We know the Bucs are going to throw the ball, and I pretty much do trust him as far as you can trust any Buccaneer player. I heard somebody in the Fantasy Couch Fan Facebook group say, like, look, I'm not playing any more Raiders players ever again. And it's like, yeah, it's tough to trust any Raider players. It's also tough to trust a lot of Buccaneers players. Maybe the Dolphins kind of fall in that category, but Jameis Winston, when he had the opportunity and it's been a good matchup, he's always performed. The two times where I did feature him as a great quarterback to pick in DFS, he did not disappoint and he balled out. Same thing when Mike featured him in Stardom Sit-em, he did ball out. One which was the same week. Also, we have Sam Darnold, who I think is going to be a really good quarterback in the future. Might take him another year or two, but he's been playing pretty well the last couple weeks. And Robbie Anderson, now that he's healthy, now that he has developed a little bit of chemistry with Darnold, has been pretty good as well. This matchup is okay, not great, not bad. That's why I have him ranked number 3. And it's in New England. I would have given him an extra boost if it was a home game. The homie CJ Anderson. I'm so proud of this guy. Started out being a free agent for a little while. Nobody seemed to really want him. The Panthers took a flyer on him. Cut him because Christian McCaffrey was so good. Then he got cut again by the Raiders. That had to feel bad. That's basically his hometown over there. I believe he grew up as a Raider fan, and now he's on the Rams, a Super Bowl ready team, and he kind of balled out, given he was only on the team for a few days, and he was the starter, or should I say the guy directly backing up Todd Gurley, which is a pretty big role. So I got to put him here as one of the top running backs. And look, like I tried to rank this as best as I could, but it's I'll only say this once. It's week 17. There's a lot of uncertainty here. We don't know exactly what's going to go on, but I'm going to try my best to help you guys out. Cameron Artis-Payne, it really seems like Christian McCaffrey is not going to play. He got the 100 receiving mark. You know, he did well. He got all his personal goals in line, so there's really no reason to put him out there to risk him suffering a serious injury. So they mentioned that they might sit Christian McCaffrey. I think that's more like they'll probably sit Christian McCaffrey. It makes so much sense to me. And why not give some other running backs some run? Now that CJ Anderson is not on the Panthers, it seems pretty likely that Cameron Artis-Payne, CAP, would be the guy. Not sure though. Maybe they'll split time. Maybe they'll see other players going, because this is essentially like a preseason game for the Panthers. If Zeke rests, Rod Smith, great running back to start. Lamar Miller missed last week with an injury. Let's see what happens. Therefore, we have Alfred Blue. Now, Devontae Freeman's out. Tevin Coleman suffered an injury. And Ito Smith is injured. Therefore, Brian Hill could do some things. He got 100 yards last week. He did pretty good in his limited role. So if he's the starter going against the Bucks, I absolutely love this pick. Also, Royce Freeman, if Lindsey suffered a hand injury, if he's out. Dante Foreman, of course, same thing with the Lamar Miller injury. Nyheim Hines, Darren Sproles, who's still got it. He really proved me wrong. He played very well week 16. He still has some burst, still has some moves, is very productive. And why not come back if you want to come back, Sproles, for 2019. You're still very productive, very good, still underrated by analysts like me who claim to know what we're talking about. You also have Devontae Booker, could be the second running back for the Broncos, a little boost in PPR leagues, and Dwayne Washington, I believe he would be the starting running back for the Saints if the Saints do decide to rest players such as Kamara, such as Breeze, such as Ingram. Dwayne Washington could get a starting role. Also have John Kelly, backup running back for the Rams if Gurley is out, and Charkandrick West. There's so many injuries to the Chiefs running backs. We know Kareem Hunt is out. Damian Williams is still playing, but Darrell Williams could be banged up. So Charkandrick West, maybe the number 2 running back on the Chiefs. He still looks pretty good. Could be more of just a change of pace type back and on some passing plays. He should have a limited role. That's why I have him ranked so low. But still, might be worth the add in deeper leagues if Darrell Williams is out. Moving on to wide receivers, Jordy Nelson is the man on the Raiders. He's the number 1 receiver there. How much confidence do we have in that, though? Still, going against the Chiefs is a great matchup, but I'm truly standing by this. You cannot trust any Raider players. You just can't. This guy needed like 2.3 fantasy points from Jared Cook, and he got him like 2 fantasy points. What a mess. Like, you just cannot trust anybody. That was against the Broncos, and he lost in the championship game. I don't know what's going to happen. I just know it's a good matchup. And Jordy Nelson, the past 3 weeks, has been the number 1 guy in the passing game. Who knows, though? Deshaun Hamilton is a very intriguing player. He's been very consistent, very good, scoring touchdowns, getting targets, getting receptions, being very efficient. Him and Case Keenum have been on the same page, and I like him kind of as a dynasty pick. I don't think he'll be that productive when Emmanuel Sanders does come back. But at the same time, maybe they do find a starting role for him. How could they not? And then we have John Ross and Chris Hogan. For tight ends, we have Chris Herndon, the Jets tight end, been playing really well as of late. Just really the first few weeks, we never heard of him, and now he's been a pretty productive tight end. He could be a borderline low-end tight end 1 or a high-end tight end 2, probably more so a low-end tight end 1, with all the tight ends being horrible this year. Ian Thomas, still decent on the Panthers. Gerald Everett, the number 1 tight end on the Rams. And I don't know what that means, but I guess it's true. He's the pass-catching tight end for the Rams. And with George Swain on IR, Blake Jarwin is the starting tight end for the Cowboys. Defenses. I did not include defenses that are 90% owned or 99% owned. I just didn't do it. Thought it'd be a waste of time. So I went with defenses that are, let's say, 78, 75% owned and fewer. Steelers D, they got to win, and they're hoping for the Ravens to not win this week. So I think they're going to play as hard as they can. And the Bengals so banged up. The Steelers D has been playing very well this season. They should do very good. They're number 1 ranked defense as far as rankings go for week 17 on a lot of websites. Ravens D doesn't necessarily have an amazing matchup. It's not bad or anything, but they've been one of the best defenses. Like the Ravens D and Bears D are the two best defenses this year. And I'm not talking just fantasy, I'm talking real life and just in general. And they're also two defenses that you can rely no matter who they play. You can start the Bears D, you can start the Ravens D, and this is not going to change it for me. The Ravens win and they're in the playoffs. They're going to play hard and they run the ball extremely well. Like, that's an understatement. They run the ball like we haven't seen in a long time. And that means that it's going to likely be a low scoring game. They keep the other team's offense off the field. We have the Eagles D going against the mess of a Washington team that's super banged up. Bills D going against the Dolphins in one of the lowest scoring games this year. At least it's slated to be one of the lowest scoring games. Chargers D going against the Broncos. Broncos never put up a lot of points. This could finally be the week the Chargers D does something. Seahawks D going against the Cardinals, one of the worst offenses, just one of the worst teams in the league. You can pretty much start any defense going against the Cardinals and be good. Like, that's always one of the sweetest matchups in all of fantasy, no matter what position we're talking about. Patriots D going against the Jets, Rams D going against the Niners, Cowboys D, Packers D. Lions can't put up a lot of points. I don't like the Packers D, but the matchup I do like. And Dolphins D going against the Bills, low scoring game like we talked about. Panthers D going against the Saints. This may be a sweet defense to start if the Saints rest players. Also, kickers, where's a real good drop? Like, I really like Matt Bryant. I really like Jake Elliott. So I'm not even going to rank Chris Boswell ahead of them necessarily. I'll say those three, or maybe even four, like the top 3-4 are really in the same tier. There's not a huge difference. Like, Matt Bryant is one of the kickers that I trust a lot, so I would trust him in a championship game. Chris Boswell, I have no trust in him. He misses a lot of kicks. He slips, he falls. But going against the Bengals is the sweetest matchup. I know there's going to be several opportunities for him to possibly kick extra points if they don't go for two, and to kick field goals, and to get in field goal range, and to get in the red zone. It's going to happen a lot. So Chris Boswell, even though he might miss some field goals and they might go for two and whatnot, I still like him a lot, but not much more than Bryant or Elliott or even Badgley. So Michael Badgley, I really like this week. I think he's a high risk type of kicker this week. So he might get you 3, 4, 5 fantasy points. And I wouldn't be shocked if he got 14 or 15 fantasy points this week. The Chargers will do good. I just don't know how it's going to go down. I know the Chargers are going to do very well. I don't think they're going to be resting players. And I'll talk about the playoff picture in a little bit. And then we have Brett Maher, the Cowboys kicker, going against the Giants. Sebastian Janikowski, sort of like Boswell. I don't like Janikowski. He still has the leg power, but the guy's inconsistent. He's so unreliable. And Seahawks just haven't had a kicker since they got rid of Hauschka. I mean, Hauschka wasn't great, but he was solid. But they've been having problems with the Blair Walsh project, and now Janikowski, the old kicker. But just like Boswell, they'll get opportunities going against the Cardinals. And then we have Jason Myers, one of the best kickers this year, extremely accurate, very reliable. I can trust this guy, but in this matchup, it's going to be super risky. If he got 1 fantasy point, I wouldn't be shocked. Yet if he got 13 fantasy points, I wouldn't be shocked either. Okay, let's look at the playoff picture here. Now, I didn't study this to a T, so I think for those of you that are playing in the championship game this week, the most important thing you can do is study the playoff picture. Know which teams may be resting players, know which teams are locked, know which teams have very little to play for. So I did look at this. I did do research, but I'm not going to lie. I didn't look at every single scenario, like the percentages teams can get in and which teams are likely to rest players. Like, I know this stuff, but like I said, I didn't do a ton of research on it. So if you are playing, I highly recommend you look at the playoff picture, you keep up on news, and look at, you know, which players might rest and whatnot. But this is the entire playoff picture right here. It seems the Saints have very little to play for. They have the best record. The Rams are known to rest players, such as Gurley. Like, if he's not 100%, I highly don't. It's so unlikely he's gonna. I just think they're gonna rest Gurley. We'll see who else they rest. It seems like the Steelers need to win and the Ravens need to lose. The Ravens are playing the Browns. That's going to be tough for Steelers. So the Colts and Titans, they're in the same division. Their record seems tied up. So it seems like the Colts would need to lose and the Titans would need to win for the Titans to get in. And then the Eagles, who somehow miraculously made it this far, they would need the Vikings to lose. And yeah, because Vikings aren't winning their division. They need the Vikings to lose, and the Eagles need to win to get in. So the Eagles are going all out. Vikings are going all out. So that's my analysis. Sorry, I'm not like a professional when it comes to the playoff picture or whatnot. I'm just being honest with you guys. So I urge you guys to do research if you're playing. I dressed up my dog, but I don't know if he seems kind of tired. I don't know if you can see him. Over here.
There he is. Dang, he looks passed out.
I wish you guys all a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Holidays, good luck in your leagues. I will still be uploading videos, but I'll go more to uploading about once a week during the off season. We'll be talking about the NFL draft and, you know, getting ready for drafts right away. Make sure you guys subscribe to this YouTube channel by hitting the white couch icon here. Subscribe to the second YouTube channel, Fantasy Couch Podcast, by hitting the orange couch icon over here. Like the video if you enjoyed it, dislike if you didn't, and I'll see you on the next live stream / video.